Hey everybody, in today's video I want to address one of the most common questions I get, which is what AI model should I subscribe to? And it's a hard call to make because one week it might be the OpenAI model that's best, another week it might be the Anthropic model that's on top, then it might be Google. And the other thing is that although there's kind of a consensus strongest model in terms of intelligence, there's not necessarily one best model. Depending on what your use cases are, what tasks typically come up for you. Is it data analysis? Is it writing? Is it research? Is it image creation? So there's a whole bunch of different models that in some sense might be best for you that I talked about in one of my previous videos that I use regularly, a team of 10 models now, each with different strengths and weaknesses. And if you use those models across a number of companies, those $20 a month subscriptions can start getting expensive. And so I want to show you a different option that I think is phenomenal. And I have no association with this company, but I love the way they do it. And it's a site called OpenRouter. And what it does is it gives you access to 374 different models currently, and this just keeps going up. Just last month it was 250, and it's all the top models. And kind of amazingly, a lot of the best ones are free or very, very cheap. And the neat thing about this is instead of $20 a month or $40 a month or $200 a month, the way the other companies do it, what they do is they do it on the basis of credits. And so what you can do is when you sign up, you just throw on a certain amount of dollars for credits, and credits are deducted based on the model you run and the amount of input and output tokens. And you can see here that I've been hammering this thing for like over a month. And I put $10 on about a month and a half ago, and I've spent about $2.50 in that time, even though my usage has been really high. And the reason for that is, as I say, that depending on which models you choose, a lot of really good ones are free, and some of the ones that aren't free are incredibly cheap. So I use the Google Flash model as my default model. It's really fast, it's smart, and it costs almost nothing. So if we look here at models, and if you go to the table view, and then you can search here. And one of the nice things about this is it's got all the slicers down the side, and so you can search based on what the model does. Does it do text? Does it do images? The context length, the pricing, a whole bunch of different factors. And so if we look here at Flash, like Gemini 2.0 Flash is 10 cents per million input tokens and 40 cents per million output tokens. And that's incredibly cheap. You'll go a long time before you'll even spend $1. And so in addition to scope and cost, one of the other really nice things about this is simplicity. That instead of needing multiple API keys for each site, you can generate multiple API keys if you need them, but I typically have one API key that I just use for OpenRouter, and calling that OpenRouter from within code, within an API call, it uses the same API call, the same API code, and you just change the parameter of the model that you're querying. And so it makes it really, really easy to include API calls in your code. And the last thing is power. That one of the great things about this is I want to show you is let's go here to chat. And what you can do is you can chat with any of the models, but the thing I like best about this is you can chat with a bunch of models at once. So if we say flagship models, Claude 3.7 Sonnet, we've got O3 Mini. Those are both really good. I'm going to take Flash out of here because it's not quite as strong. We've got Grok, and then let's put one of the OpenAI models in here. So let's put O3 O3 mini high. Here we go. And then what I wanted to show you here is, I'm not currently searching for a job, but I wanted to show if I was, what I could do is I could go down here and I could add my files. So limit of 4 attachments. I can go here and I can add, I've got my LinkedIn profile information in a PDF, and then I found an interesting job for a principal business analyst for Navy Federal Credit Union here in DC. So if I click open, and then it just opens both of those. And now let me just copy this prompt. So I said, based on my LinkedIn profile info attached, evaluate how strong candidate you think I'd be for the attached position. Rate my candidacy from 1 to 10. Specify what you think my strengths and weaknesses would be with regard to applying for this position. And then let's add something else in. Let's say also include any recommendations you would make for strengthening my application and preparing for an interview. Okay, and now let's send that through. Let's send that through the models we've selected. And what you'll see is that it sequentially goes through and it runs the same query for all the models at once. And you can click up here, you can expand any of them to see, kind of the details. And we'll just wait till this cranks through for all of them. And there we go. So we've now got 4 different sets of opinions, and what we can even do is we can even then take, let's say we shut each of these down, and then what we can do is we can keep Claude 3.7 up there, or whichever model we want, and then say, based on the 4 answers from each of the models, give me a summary of my candidacy based on all of the evaluations, and give me a comprehensive list of the strengths and weaknesses and recommendations that were made across all 4 models. So in a sense, what you get is kind of a conference of experts. And I did something really similar last night. I love this kind of expert panel approach. And so what I had is I had an analysis I was doing of NBA winning percentage. And I had a draft analysis plan, and it was quite comprehensive. And I went through and I said, okay, for each of the frontier models, go through and critique the analysis plan, talk about strengths and weaknesses, talk about specific recommendations you'd make for improving the model. And then I had one model, it was again Claude 3.7 because I like the way it writes, summarize all of them. So that kind of scope, cost, simplicity, and power are really the 4 things I love about OpenRouter. And as I say, I've got no association with them at all, no financial affiliation. But I just wanted to show this to you because I really think for the vast majority of people who are experimenting with AI and want to try a bunch of different models and do so in a cost-effective way, I think this is absolutely a fantastic solution. So I hope you found that helpful, and as always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.